warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat datang, salam sejahtera. Nama saya Saiful Bahrim bin Muhammad Saleh, pengerusi frontline, member of BRO, Bumiputra Retail Organisation, one of the 42 companies, salah satu daripada company yang disebutkan tadi. Tapi dalam IT, dalam F&B, dalam consultancy, itu bisnes saya. Saya baru je buka My Food Loft di KL Central, yang baru, style baru, food court. Itu salah satu bisnes saya, dan saya ada bisnes di Indonesia, Thailand, itu F&B, berasaskan gamat. Juga saya ada consultancy on change management, dan pendek kata saya entrepreneur juga lah. Last 15 years, the first 20 years I was with IBM, Oracle, Banyan, then I was country manager Cisco. So we can talk about technology, not a problem. Yeah, 15 years ago. And I've been handling PCOM. Kalau you pernah dengar PCOM, the PC Fair tu, I was chairman, council, president, CEO, then I tinggal the industry last year. I've decided to do brick and mortar lah. Lagi interesting ya. So that's myself, dan I'm your moderator today. So kita dah nak dekat dah. Jason is 95%. Phil, thank you very much for calling them. So I think alhamdulillah, terima kasih. Jadi challenge pertamanya, kita akan jalankan yang panggil ni forum atau seminar dalam bahasa, kebanyakannya bahasa Inggeris. Because our speaker seorang daripada Italy, seorang ni dia half Irish, and we have some Australian and some people yang tak berapa fasih dalam bahasa Malaysia, so we'll do mix. Tapi saya akan terjemahkan. Kalau siapa yang tak faham, angkat tangan, tanya, tidak kisah, I can do the translation. Dan saya akan terjemahkan. Jadi we'll do a bilingual, Indian a little bit, but 我不知道, I can speak in Chinese, Mandarin, so I'll do mainly in English. Bahasa kata, bahasa teks, LOL, ROFL, laughing on the floor, rolling on the floor, laughing. Fail. There's still people coming in. Depan ada lagi, there's about 10 seats kat depan. Datang. Tadi kita boleh buka tikar. Okay, insyaAllah. Silakan. So my task today, especially for the speakers also, first, saya akan memperkenalkan semua panelis. Kita ada 3 panelis. Saya akan perkenalkan tiap-tiap satu, saya akan panggil mereka ke atas. Kedua, cara kita buat forum ini adalah kita akan, we will ask each of the panelists to give a few words on the subject matter. Tajuk kita nak fokus ya. Our focus is sales strategy. Okay, we won't go too much detail because there's so many items under sales, be it logistic, information, marketing, supply chain, pricing, macam-macam. But we're going to focus on sales strategy. That's our topic. Sales, pada semua, it's all about getting your sales and getting your numbers, selling your product. It's all about performance. So I'm going to ask these 3 gentlemen here on about dashboard. How do you monitor? How you achieve your sales? So they are drilling them for the next 1 hour plus. And I don't think they have any problem. I'm sure they will pass with flying colors. We are going to pick their brains. But interestingly, in the sales strategy, we have a multinational individual here, business all over, not just in Malaysia. We have person who is into telecommunication, the new wave, or you can call it the game changer. We'll ask him more questions. I will tell you who are they, who's the individual. And also we have an individual who's into an online, the way, the new technology, the trend. And you know what the trend is, Trend kita dulu internet. Yang mana yang above 50 tu you tahu lah dulu when your TV is black and white. So the current wave is telecommunication. Everybody's on mobile. I'm on mobile. I go to Indonesia, they are on BlackBerry. Everybody is on mobile. Millions of people. Penetration of mobile is more than 100% of the population of the country because everybody has more than one phone. And of course, the current wave is also Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, Internet of Me. Maknanya, we will be given devices that will collect data automatically. We will be given devices that will talk to each other, send to your doctors. So the technology trend is moving very fast. So all in all, we are living in a new world, new challenges. But what is this sales strategy is all about? To make you all entrepreneur, semua Bumi Putra entrepreneur ramai ya, kan? To be successful, to be able to sell products. Pendatang pun dia perlukan sales strategy ya. And they are very global. Okay? So itu mukadimah ya, just a quick opening. And what I'll do now is to introduce you the first person, Mr. Jonathan Law. Sila bagi tangan, jemput. Please take your seat over here. Ini kalau you pergi ke KLIA, you will see him. That's him, yeah? Jonathan Law. Let me just briefly give his background, what's the purpose ini, very summary. But what's interesting is, even though you're not an IT or technology background, but his own words, thank God for Wikipedia. Maknanya, with the fingertips, you can just, it's a millions of things you can get onto the internet. So Google can give you whatever you need to know. Even last night, saya tekan sales strategy. What does it mean? Brrr, banyak keluar.
Incidentally, 70% of all traffic for data comes from pornography. just to let you know, in context lah. So kalau orang cakap semalam saya buat ni,
dia boleh cakap bahasa kat tu, okey lah. Satu tepukan. Very good. Our excitement today. Tapi walaupun you boleh tahu, you can know everything, you can find out everything online, Google, Wikipedia. There's one thing that the Google cannot actually answer: how to handle your wife. You tekan, it will come back and say, still searching, still searching, still searching. So that's difficult. Maybe
lambat intro ni.
So game changer, change is constant. That's the man there we are going to ask, because he has done Tune Talk with never seen before incentive. That's a keyword I notice here. So what is that? You need to be different than others to actually win the hearts of your customer. And then he becomes the largest MVNO in Asia. It's all about branding and about elegance, getting loyal customer. We're going to ask you afterward, how do you create that loyalty among your clients? If you go for consumers, kebanyakan, if you are business and get selling product to the consumers, how do you get loyal customer and you get repeat orders? Orang datang balik, people buy again and again in your product or your services. So with all the echelon here, the awards, excellent award, most promising service provider, entrepreneur, outstanding exemplary. So I think we have a lot to take away from our Mr. Jason Low, or Jason Jonathan Low, CEO of Tune Talk. Okay, welcome Jason. You hang on there. Second person, Cik Mustafa Muhammad Mustaqim Manaf. Di mana dapat Mustafa? Mustafa Muhammad. Silakan Tapi yang senang panggil dia Kim. We call you Jason. Okay, we have Jason and we have Kim. Kim ni, you notice here, has a big experience. Currently, he's the GM of Valiram, a group. So that's an interesting company. These are high-end brands. And Kim ni is also an EXCO in Bro, Putra Retail Organization. He's the money man, the bendahari. An entrepreneur for 8 years, but 18 years in the retail industry. So I think there are a lot of retailers in this room. Yeah, he's graduated from Macarthur College and Boston University. But interesting to see Kim has gone through, even from the days in Holland and then Singapore, and then going through, apart from in Malaysia, Metro Jaya Berhad, in Langkawi Development Authority, Cape International, or CAPE, how you pronounce that. And he's the man who knows how to launch product. He is the expert. Whatever product, especially high-end product, he's the man there. Because currently Kim, Manaf, with Valiram, the UK brands such as Topshop, Topman, Miss Selfridge, Dorothy Perkins, These are all products that he represents. And currently, I think the directors of Valiram has confidence in Kim to run brands like Christian Dior, Estee Lauder, SK11 or 11. The past. Oh, dah lupa, but still, those experience. So currently, Kim is, and the Hamleys, recently the signing ceremony in UK where we have. So I think that's the great. We'll hear more from Kim later on, and especially your experience and how to launch brand and how to make it successful. But importantly, how do you get good brands abroad, how to do JVs, and how to actually get people confident for you to represent them. Kalau if you are not having your own product, yeah, retailing or distributing, and in Malaysia now we call it retailers or distributive trade. So I think that's the category that the country is looking at, not just wholesale, yeah, retail, wholesale, or retail, distributive trade, because whole supply chain. Okay, last but not least, an interesting individual. Let's welcome Mr. Luca Barbaris. So Luca, our Italian guy, eh? And of course, when you say Italian, fashion comes to mind. Luca is on the screen here. He's the managing director of Zalora Malaysia. I understand you've been here for the last 1.5 years. What's your first impression of Malaysia?
In general, I found a very friendly business landscape. Definitely the fact that the main language of a business is English helped me quite a lot, as you can imagine. The problem with e-commerce in this country is that users still prefer to go to the malls compared to customers in Europe or in the US. So for Zalora, this is the main challenge. If I look at the e-commerce share out of total retail in the US, we're to about 10%. Here is only 1%. The mall culture here is really strong. People love going to the malls. And this true, but there is aircon also at home, right? So I'm not sure if it's the aircon, but definitely is on the internet side is definitely a challenging market.
Thank you. Luca is the founder of the DS Limited, an online mobile publisher. I'm sure a lot of you will be looking at how to sell your product over the internet, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever, the social media scenario. So that guy there with the fashion in mind, and he's looking out for more fashion in Malaysia even, or into the ASEAN countries. So you should expand your mind how to make your product sellable regionally. And of course, you have to look at the eyeballs, right? So running portfolio on website of 1 million visitors per day, that's interesting. Where he manages 6 million US per quarter portfolio of business and startup to large enterprises. So these are areas of online marketing. So Luca, I've been asking you, what's the difference between sales and marketing? So I think the audience would probably want to know that. Yeah. How do you differentiate between sales and how do you differentiate with marketing? How do you use it well enough for you to be able to be successful? And online marketing, international expansion, online growth strategy is part and parcel of what we want to hear from you today. Yeah. So welcome, Luca Barbaris. Give a hand. Okay, enough of introduction. So what we will do, I'm going to join the panelists as a moderator. First thing, I feel so odd with the jacket. I'm going to open up my jacket first. Okay, we're going to make the session more heated up, eh? And I'm going to go up there. We have 1.5 hours. We should finish by 12:30. So we have 1 hour, so it's good. So what I'm going to do now is to give each one, starting with Luca, then Kim, and then we have Jason, to give a 5-10 minutes perspective. Yeah, this is coming from the experienced people up here, and I think the basic question that we have in mind is, for you to perform in this challenging world, in the area of marketing in Malaysia, in the region, when Malaysia is now being chairman of the ASEAN Economic Community, the first thing in my mind is, how do you measure, how do you monitor your sales? All related to marketing. How do you look at your sales dashboard? And what are the top 3 monitoring entity or metrics, you call it, for your sales strategy? I mean, that's the underlying. But you can add other areas which you think is important to share with the audience. First, Mr. Luca.
Okay, at Zalora, 100% of the sales we do happen online, so we are pure digital. Zalora started as a bet on the fact that internet commerce, e-commerce, was going to grow also in Southeast Asia, where there is sort of a lack of big competitors. When I look at competitors, I have to look at big offline retailers such as H&M or Zara, because online, so far there were not at least for fashion, the high levels of funding, of investment. So it started as a bet on internet will grow, also if now the numbers are not good. So this is the basic idea behind Zalora. So we are fully dedicated to online. One thing that is quite interesting is that even if I only sell online, one thing that we do quite successfully to acquire new customers for our website is we go to the malls. So we open stores. They are not really physical stores because people cannot walk out of a store with a piece of cloth. But they can come, they can try, because all the ladies, they are afraid that the clothes will not fit. This is the main challenge of selling clothes online, is that people are worried about their sizes. So they test the clothes in the store. They see if it fits, and then they go to the cashier. There is no cashier. They cannot pay with cash. They can only make the purchase online. And after 1 day, they will receive the piece of the clothes at home. This is a way for us to show the people in the malls how to do online commerce. Of course, this can cover in some months only 5–10% of my new customers acquisition. So it's still a small channel, but it's quite interesting to see how I'm forced to go offline in order to make the online grow faster. Then of course the channels. If you ask me what are the main channels for online, the best ROI still is on Google. So it's very expensive, but so far there is not much that can beat it. Social media, of course, Facebook has very good advertising products for an online platform. And then sounds very boring, but it's not, the newsletter. So for an online player, actually, the newsletter, which sounds very old school, sounds something that people do not really read anymore, is not true. Actually, the newsletter is probably one of my best sales channel. So say Google, social media, newsletter, and offline stores. These are the main pillars that we use to grow in Southeast Asia and in Malaysia too.
Okay. Thank you, Lucas, for the quick sort of 5 minutes brief on that. We'll go on to the next speaker first, and saya cadangkan ya, you jot down lah kalau ada apa-apa soalan. Ya, kita akan ada masa untuk bagi floor to ask interactively what you want to hear from the panelists, or what you want to ask even everybody in this room. So we'll pass on to Kim. Yeah? But Kim, apart from the question of what do you look at the sales dashboard, how do you look at your sales strategy, I'm going to naikkan sikit. You raise the bar a bit. Because in the corporate world of a successful business, and this is not coming from me, it's coming from the marketing guru, or a good successful approach to have a successful organization is first to have a good business model. Okay, the dashboard is fine. Then you must have a good core values, the budaya, yeah, the culture within the organization, and of course the people. And the third component is to have the energy, the drive, the emotional part of the energy, the positive part of energy, and also the age, the differentiator. So related to the metrics, I'm raising the bar for you to actually give some comment in the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum, everybody there. Thank you, Cik Saiful. Basically, it's what I would like to pick up is there's no one size fits all in terms of we all come from very different backgrounds. Latar belakang kita semua berlainan. But on my side, just to add on a little bit, I think what's most important when we are trying to get into this world of trying to capture sales, isn't it? I mean, dalam bidang keusahawan ni yang paling penting is jualan. The tills need to ring because there's rents to pay, gaji kena bayar, stocks kena bayar, and so on and so forth. But how do you stand out? So in terms of dashboard, dari segi bila saya mulakan kerjaya sebagai usahawan, yang paling penting of course for me is cash flow. That's the first and only thing that I look at. Of course, the background will be different from these two gentlemen here, but for myself, cukup tak cash kita nak bayar sewa, bayar gaji, and so tiap-tiap hari tengok tu je, itu my dashboard, dah lain dah tak ada dah. Cash masuk, cukup tak nak bayar. So always keeping aside enough sufficient cash. So I cannot say this enough, and I was even reading a book about Richard Branson, and it was the same thing when Richard Branson started off eons ago. He was also just worried about cash flow and doesn't even look at sales or profitability or whatever not. But of course, that's bila kita mula lah. But of course, we understand at the end of the day, bila kita nak berkembang, we need to have a strategy. How do we increase our sales? Now again, like I was saying, there tak ada one size fits all. I will use Hamleys as an example. What we try to do with our staff in Hamleys, it's we try to switch it a little bit different. Instead of selling products, we train our staff, jangan jual produk. Sebab bila you jual produk, again I'm talking on Hamleys side because it will be different for the bidang-bidang yang you ceburi. When you sell products, the other competitor is probably selling the same things. But on Hamleys, for example, kita jual transformers, Beast Hunter. So you go into competition, department store, wherever not, they sell the same product at the same price. So how do you compete with them? So to capture sales on our side Hamleys is we sell joy. Itu yang perbezaan kita. Kita jual kebahagiaan. We sell experience, and therefore we model our business along that route which we think will keep customers coming back. For example, competition. Competition kita dia mungkin if a lot of us here of course are parents. Competition, they have a loyalty card. So the more you buy from the business, the more you buy from the stores, you akan dapat points, correct? Bila you dapat points, you akan dapat voucher. So itu cara dia, strategi dia untuk dapat loyalty for you all to keep coming back. But for us, kita still peruntukkan, but instead of discount, we spent it on staffing. We spent it on activities. So when customers, budak especially, bila dia datang kedai kita, ada saja activities. So kita buka mainan tu, so budak actually get to play with the products. They get to feel with the products. We put in 20 staff in the store, one store just nothing but play with the children. So as a result of which is the next time, sebab when the kids are happy, kita lihat wajah mak bapak, the eyes, dia punya kebahagiaan tu. Sebagai ibu bapa, bila you nampak anak you happy, it's a very different feeling. It's a very fulfilling experience. Now that's what we share with our team to sell. Now you've got to sell that. What you're selling is the sparkle in the customer's eyes. Sama juga dengan baju budak. Like say we have Next in Bangsa, which is selling children's clothing. So nothing gives a parents more excitement and more joy than to see the children wear the clothes which are branded Next, and they look so cute in those baju. So what happens then? As ibu bapa kita pun get excited. Sebab at the end of the day, anak kita lah yang paling handsome, anak kita lah yang paling cantik, anak kita lah yang paling pandai, isn't it? I mean, that's how it is. So bila kita nampak anak kita so nice, dressed up, looking so wonderful. They get excited, they get happy, they buy a product. So that's what we share with our staff. You're not actually selling baju ataupun mainan. Apa yang you jual tu is experience, is that joy. So this is how we try to switch it around, because bila kita, when we focus our business on that, then the sales automatically will come. So it's a reverse strategy in which what we are doing. We're not saying that it's the right strategy, we're not saying it's wrong, but so far we find in the face of competition where a lot of people are doing hard sell, we find that this is working a lot better for us. So as a result, ramai budak, for example, umur, even my anak buah I, umur mungkin setahun setengah pun dah pandai minta nak pergi Hamleys, ini baru setahun setengah aja, so young. Why? Because bila dia pergi to a Hamleys store, dia rasa happy, macam playland. But when they go to competition, it's nothing. It's just macam supermarket, products on shelves. But doesn't mean that particular model does not work. Dia punya strategi berlainan. Dia punya strategi is using loyalty card to retain you so that you keep coming back. Our strategy to retain you is we spend money on staffing, we spend money training, we spend money building a very nice shop. So that's a little bit just how I want to kick off the session. Right. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Kim. One clap. Good input. Guys, it's all about selling experience. Some of the high-end cafe too, they don't mind selling experience, then they add in now not just GST, it's a service charge, and they sell premium. But people like the experience, and people don't mind paying. Yeah, so it all depends. Just like Apple, they don't mind commanding 10-20% of the marketplace. They charge premium, but people like the product, and they're very profitable. So again, your sales strategy has to be right. I like the point you mentioned, reverse strategy. So it's not about hard sell on the product. You probably sell the joy, sell the experience, and I think this is a good one. Sell sparkle, spark. 2015, that's spark enough. So that's a differentiator. And I think it relates to my ICT background also. Some of the big companies where they can be profitable, they can still sell, is because they sell add value. Sometimes you have to sell yourself. Because sometimes the product ada banyak. But they like to go to the salesperson or the owner yang boleh give them the proper service, yang boleh menjawab whatever question that you ask. So it's the personality involved. So that's also experience. So that brings to the next speaker. But then again, I just want to mention, Kim also mentioned about Richard Branson, but be careful. Richard Branson, very successful billionaire, but there's also a tough part. He will trample all the competition so that he become great, but I'm glad to see Tony Fernandez managed to get him to wear the stewardess clothes and with lipstick and serve Tony Fernandez. So depends how you manage the market. So with that, let's invite Jason to speak a few words. Jason, all yours.
Thank you very much, moderator, sir. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Sehat? Dah makan dah? Belum? Maxis and Digi are very expensive. I just start by that. What's that? Oh yeah, they made about almost 2 billion ringgit last year lah, tapi tak bagi bonus, So. It's true. So there are around 140 of KPI. Can you say the word?
KPI.
140 of those things for telcos. It's very disgusting, It ranges from, mobile penetration to, density, market ARPU, revenues of subscribers, and, mind awareness, share of mind, number of calls per user, ting tong, ping pong, tong tong, whatever, At the end of the day, what it all boils down to, I believe, is human habitual behavior. That's how you sell, yeah? Now, every single kedai, every single shop, every single mama store, whatever, it is all a different case. Because you must look for the subtlety of business. It's a subtlety of business, yeah? A small difference between the placement of your kiosk. In Tun Talk at LCCT, we had a kiosk which was planted right at the bottom of the escalator, right? You all fly areas, right? Yeah? And you come down there, you see Tun Talk. because it's the baggage, yeah, human behavior already, you already, the bag will take 5 minutes to come out lah. We can go and shop a bit lah, kita tuntok lah, you know. If it's placed outside, you got your bag, go. So you want taxi. Yeah? So human habitual behavior is very important when you are trying to sell. Find out what is your objective, right? Many of these big telco companies who steal all your money, they will give their guys KPI, this thing that they measure their bonus on. Now, if the guy doesn't hit their target, dia tak bagi bonus lah. Dia tak dapat bonus kan for that year. So what happens is, the guy will try to sell to anybody, and he will usually go to the migrant segment. Go to the migrant. Hey, Ram, boleh jual ni? Okay lah, jual, okay lah banyak. Ramai Bangladeshi ni. And he will sell to the Bangla market, to the Indian market. To the first movers is usually the migrant market, the Indonesian market. Yeah? And this market will buy the SIM card and throw, man. Buy and throw. Yeah? No loyalty. So why do you want to hit that target? Why you want to hit that target? Just to get your bonus, to hit your KPMG, whatever. Why? You're selling to the wrong people. You see? Now Digi had this problem because they serviced anybody here from Digi? Actually, I, for once, have respect for Digi because Digi have finally appointed a Malaysian as a CEO, Albert Muti. So I think that's a really good thing for Malaysia. I never thought Norwegians will do that. So Digi had this problem where they were seen as a brand for the Nepalese and for the migrants, and they were trying to pull people over. The brand is a very important thing. You must understand the habitual behavior of people before you try to sell. That is the big difference. For instance, I gave a talk at Shell recently. Okay, went into Shell, they have a safety briefing. Welcome to Shell. Please do not move your arm around, and if there is a fire, run in the opposite direction. Oh, it's almost like watching a DAP commercial lah. Then I went into Shell, and they said, when it came to question, they said, what do you think about our business model? I said, well, since you're all downstream, you don't have any say in your business model, right? This is your Shell business model. Eh, minyak habis dah. Hey, Petronas. Oh, okay, Shell. That's the Shell business model for downstream. Yeah? There's no differentiator, right? We actually, in fact, if I'm Petronas, I would say, don't take the first one, take the second one. Because you're always going to miss the first one. Then you go to the second one. You know? Kan? But, hey, we want to be number one, man. Get the first one. Kenapa sis? Tak boleh naik. Because people miss. You turn the corner, the first one, Petron. You know? So, you have to understand the behavioral pattern of people very, very delicately. A small difference, and this can be for digital as well. Everyone here, I can see by your I can just guess your age. You all play Bejewel, right? Bejewel. Yeah? You know Bejewel? You guys are in GLCs, right? You play Bejewel, right? Ding long, ding long, ding. It's like Candy Crush, right? But Candy Crush became number one and IPO'd Kings for $1 billion US. What was the difference between Candy Crush and Bejeweled? Nothing much, except a social media link. So that when you go, hey, you're on 97 Candy Crush, I'm 200. You know? It's about ego. Bejeweled did not do anything. They did not do anything about the social media aspect, which is the fastest growing sphere right now in the world. Yeah? So you must be connected to understand what the subtleties of business can be. You must understand what's going on, yeah, in the world, in technology, because now technology is moving so fast. You have to be on top. Do you remember Nokia? Huh? Ingat tak? Yeah? Kalau I dengar, hey, Nokia, wow, you know? Nokia, there's one guy laughing at the back lah. Nokia was number one smartphone for a long time. Then BlackBerry came out, BlackBerry. This is a new passport, by the way. It's an excellent phone, especially with Tune Talks. 5 GB data package at 48 ringgit, 20 ringgit cheaper than anybody else. 4G spot. So,
what happened was BlackBerry came out and became the #1 smartphone very fast. Why? Because they had the tick, the D, and the R. Okay? That means if kalau I jumpa you kat club, hey baby, come let's go for lunch, baby, yeah. Okay, my number 012529. Okay, I SMS you. Then next week, same club. Hey, I SMS you, you don't SMS back. I didn't give you SMS. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, that's the wrong number. But if you got BlackBerry, hey, I know I send you the message. Then I know it says D, delivered. Macam WhatsApp, same thing. Then I see R read, so I know that you read it. Then I know that you know that I know that you know that you know that I know that you're not a nice person. You don't answer. Sekarang buat apa? Berak. Nak makan? Cuci rambut. Come on lah, babe. You know, it's like your brain is linked together. And BlackBerry grew to #1 smartphone. But straight away, before you can say anything, Steve Jobs said, I come up with iPhone. And BlackBerry said, iPhone, okay. No, tak ada keyboard. iPhone won't do anything. iPhone in 3 years overtook BlackBerry and Nokia. Nokia started going into the ocean. Yeah. And just as Steve Jobs like, I'm the king of the world, suddenly, boom, the company said, let's do open source. And Google launched Android. 18 months, boom, #1. Yeah? So you must be on top of everything. Anybody here got kids? You got kids, right? Last time your kid said, Daddy, I want a handphone, right? Then you say, don't worry, son. I will get you Nokia. And I will get you Digi, because Digi that brainwashed me, you know. Now, terbalik. You look at your son, any Galaxy Note ke S3 or Mercedes-Benz, I don't know what. We don't know what they're using, right? The kids are now the influencers. Yeah? They are the ones you've got to understand the habitual movements of. So if you're in a tech company and you got business phone, don't simply say, let's go and market to businessmen. Businessmen are not necessarily the guys who buy the phone. Yeah? You got to look who in that company is buying. Who's the head of procurement? Lady. Yeah, middle age. 3 divorced already. Definitely you will not buy a good business phone for the man. Yeah? So you must try to base what's your objective? Your objective is, of course, to sell. Money, cha-ching, yeah? Right, we all know that. But you must go to the base of it, which is the habit of the customer. Once you understand that, then you'll be able to sell whatever you want. We can sell anything in Malaysia. Kan? I think I don't want to lose what we've sold. We've sold things to ourselves also.
Thank you. One clap. Thank you. Well done. Yeah, lots of points there, but of course very important. We are in mobile commerce, telecommunication. We are in this era now. So I think, and I agree with Jason, things change. Technology change every year. Dulu, we have to wait for a few years, 3 years, 5 years. Even just like a catastrophe disaster happened once every 5 years, but now it's like every other month already. So I think like technology, things you have to be on top of things. And we don't have to say KP, whatever. We can call it performance metrics. And it's not 140, it's only 4. They 140, but I agree. In my case of performance, the KP, whatever, it's going to be the numbers. If you want to have your sales strategy, it's all about the numbers. Cash, product that you sell. And then the second part is the timeline. When are you selling it? Because you are not going to sell it December 31st, everything that you targeted for. You can have timeline quarterly and then monthly. In the days of my Cisco days are basically weekly. Every week we have to check the numbers. Year 2000, 15 years ago. And then the third item in performance metrics, the target, is actually the quality of what you deliver. And I like it. It's how you sell, add value, how you sell experience. And the final part is the customer satisfaction, or even your employee satisfaction. So in my dashboard that I monitor, these are the 4 areas. The numbers, the timeline where you deliver the numbers, the quality so that people are not overstretched, the quality, and if it's not profitable, it's still not a good business. And finally, the satisfaction. They are not being overstretched. So we are at 12 o'clock. Excellent, guys. Some good pointers. We are going to open to the floor. So we have about half an hour. Or if you want to stay on, we don't mind staying on and answer your question. So let's take question from the floor. And you can hear from an online business to a mobile, strategic, a new way of doing things, and just focus on the experience and habitual. What were you saying there? Human habitual behavior. Phew, all right. Excellent.
It's HHB.
Huh?
HHB.
HHB. Okay, HHB, I'll stick that. It's a very subtle way, because the subtle way of understanding human is either you are analytical, you are a driver, you are amiable, 60% of the public servant are amiable, or whether you are expressive like me and like most of people here. Or like Italian, we are very expressive.
Kita measure by going to Mamak store. Dengar apa cakap.
Yeah. So 4 areas of human behavior. This is something that I urge everybody to understand if you want to understand what Jason is saying just now. Very interesting. Anyway, and of course the corporate guy here, right? So I was hoping that he opened up his jacket. So let's see whether we can get him to open up his jacket afterward. It's cold. But we are heated up now. Okay, kita ada about half an hour or so. We'll open up to the floor. Us. Angkat tangan, pergi kat mic, and say your name, from where, and straight away to your question. Brief question. First question. Yes, are you running away? No, the mic is to depan. Okay, all right.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya usahawan PUNB 7-Eleven. I want to share my experience lah.
Okay.
Saya ada buat perniagaan lubricant oil.
Lubricant.
Saya nak tanya, my problem online untuk lubricant postage sebab dia berat. So how untuk menangani masalah ini? Terima kasih.
Thank you. Nama apa tadi?
Kapten Besara Nizam.
Okay, Captain Besara, Nizam. Yeah, true. Lubricant online. How do you handle that? Because it's liquid, and you do not want to send. So any logistic that can handle the distribution channel. So anybody from the panel? Maybe we'll ask Luca. How do you handle when you sell product that is heavy? You're selling online and deliver it to your customer when they order online. And if it's a liquid, if it's heavy.
The problem is that the product is too heavy.
Yeah.
If the problem is too heavy, means that yes, you will have to share a big part of the profit with GDEX or DHL or the different providers. Hopefully, if you sell something heavy, it will also be more expensive. So at the end, it depends on the numbers that you manage to negotiate with a logistic provider. Definitely doing. If you do low cost, heavy, at low scale, then it's probably going to be a bit too challenging.
Yes, sir.
Captain, ini B2B atau B2C? Would you say? B2B kan? B2B.
Business to business. You sell to companies or you sell to individuals? You sell to individuals too.
Okay.
B2C.
Because I would first try to identify siapa nak beli ni. Siapa? Because for me, the biggest buyer will be the garage, kan? The mechanic. And you never, I never, I nak tukar oil. Who goes to the Shell station and say, I nak beli ni Shell, whatever, Petronas, the oil, you know? And you will always go and, bang, what service? Okay, tukar oil, tukar minyak, okay, whatever. So maybe the first customer is the mechanic. So your distribution strategy then is targeted at where the mechanics are exactly. Yeah. So that's the habitual behavior of the person. I don't think the person go and change the oil themselves unless they really want to get hands dirty, right? And unless you do that, you're on Ronda. Sorry, the highway guys lah. They come. Memang tak ada oil, tak ada minyak. I say, why don't you keep 1 liter diesel here? You know, they have to tow your car. You know, should try to sell to those as well. If you target those specific sales point, maybe you will need a small sales force to go and deliver yourself, because you'll save. I think you'll save money from GDEC, all this sort of thing. And I would identify this business as more of a B2B and SME setup. So I don't know if I'm right. I'm just saying that, from my opinion, I don't think that. I think you will set up sales centers, or satu kedai lah in every town, you know, maybe one in Mentakap, one in Kuala, one in that, so that everywhere you tell your guys, go to every mechanic, buy them nasi lemak, buy them whatever lah. Kalau Cina, buy them bak kut teh, you know. Then say, hey, buy my oil lah, and I give you some good commission lah, and I think you should be okay.
I think it's interesting, Captain. Yeah, it's all target market, and then you look at their behavior, and then don't try to go B2C when you have those kind of problem. If it's a cost of sending, because you will charge the customer, you put in the GST also lah, and the customer will have to pay for the transportation courier charges, and that makes you not feasible. So I think while you get, I agree, the mechanics or the workshop, that will be your first target. And then if you grow big, then maybe you want to have your pusat jualan by cities, by town, and also you have your distribution center, your stockist. So I think you grow in that manner. Then you reduce your distribution costs. I have a company that I've invested. They are nationwide, 110 loyal customers. They already set up stockists and centers. I think that will be your direction. And you can still be online. Yeah? Then after that, only you advertise and go to B2C more than what you go for targeted group. Okay, second question. I will save you from running. So. Tengok. Soalan kedua? Yes. Does it work that?
Test.
Okay, good. It works.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum. A very good afternoon.
Nama?
My name is Muhammad Husni Faiz. I'm from Matrix Power Networks, Semenam Berhad. Okay, I have two questions. The first one is Matrix Power ada banyak sangat produk. We have a lot of products that our own ada. We produce our own and we bawa orang lain punya.
What kind of product, sorry?
Electrical product. Electrical software and those kind of thing lah.
Okay.
So the question is first how to for the brand that kita bawa orang lain punya, let's say ada brand lah, how do we easily sell them lah? Yeah. Yes, we know they already have their name, but then again in this vast market there is a lot of other brand too. So how are we confidently sell those brand as our own? Something like that lah. That's the first question. The second one is let's say we want to penetrate a new market. Okay, let's say we are trying to sell a software, and then this software is new. Yes, it has its own benefits. So how do we efficiently penetrate the market lah? Sebab dah banyak orang dah jual the same. I mean, maybe the same thing. So how do we pecahkan market tu? Okay.
Sorry, I study electrical atau you kata software?
Both.
Or you have
software.
Electrical goods, other brand, and then you also have software you develop.
Yeah.
So how do you sell and be successful?
Yeah.
Selling other people's product and selling your own product. Okay. Anybody
Thank
panel? Maybe Kim, you start first. Yeah.
Hi Faiz, thank you for the question. Just speak a little bit dari segi pengalaman kita daripada Hamleys, because in Hamleys ni kita jual produk jenama yang quite a fair bit. I think dari segi SKU count we have about 12,000 in Hamleys stores. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all a numbers game. Unfortunately, brands yang very strong in terms of brainwashing you, if you may use that terms, those will always be the more successful brands, unfortunately. What we are trying to do, of course, those brands, dia punya margin dia selalu ni sebab they spend so much on advertising, those are the ones that you will probably get the least margin bila you jual dalam your kedai. Tapi kalau you tak jual those brands, then you may not have the attraction, because those are the brands that people are looking for. Now, I'll use an example again dari segi Hamleys. But Hamleys ni kita target apa? Mainan. Mainan ni kebanyakan, of course, target market budak-budak. So what happens with the children? Nowadays, children are all over YouTube. I think the pay TV, eventually that business model is going to suffer more and more. Everybody is going to YouTube. You know, I've got two kids. My son's 13, my daughter's 10. And when they go into all this channel, dia akan nampak, again from a children's product point of view, dia akan nampak Barbie, dia akan nampak dia punya Hot Wheels, dia akan nampak My Little Pony, Barbie dolls, yeah. And you know, they're going to see Transformers, dia akan nampak whatever not, right? Programs dalam YouTube, not even on TV, they're all on YouTube with their digital devices. So what happens when they go into a toy store? Dia dah kena brainwash lah. Yang dia tahu hanya all these Transformers brands and whatever not. So those brands, dari segi Hamleys, we have no choice. Kita kena still list in those particular brands. Tapi like I was saying, tapi masalahnya margin tu yang paling kurang. We need to achieve a certain percentage of our margin. So what do? We have our own brand as well, which are the Hamleys branded brand products. Tapi barang-barang Hamleys ni to the children is dia tak recognize. To them, but to mak bapak, yes, they understand, they recognize that. So you have to work a lot harder trying to sell, for us, example, barang-barang yang berjenama Hamleys. Kita kena kerja lebih kuat. So we have staff demonstrating those products. We have staff engaging children, try the coloring pencil, try the remote helicopter, so they get to play with the products, which at the end of the day give them that confidence. Again, I can only speak on my side. This is the reality sekarang dalam consumer behavior. Reality is the more we hear about a brand, the more we know about the brand, the higher the confidence we have. We cannot run away from it. So from our side, like I said, we've got no choice. We've got to balance it up. I think you've got to put more effort now into selling something which, from a brand point of view, the market gets less exposure. Kalau I pakai fashion as an example, H&M, if you open a H&M store, it's a lot easier to sell the H&M product, simply because what? They've got David Beckham endorsing it, they've got Beyonce endorsing it, they have Madonna endorsing it. So duit ni berbilion-bilion, you know, they pump into it dari segi awareness, so that semua orang tengok brand tu dia ada recognition. So bila kita buka saja kedai H&M, senang. Orang terus berpusu-pusu lah masuk, and of course because of the pricing as well. So what I'm trying to say is, kalau you are trying to say how do you increase the sales of your own branded products, I think you've got to work a lot harder. That's the only way. You've also got to try to put the product mix as a balance. Dalam Hamleys, for example, we always try, kita kena penuhkan kedai kita lebih kurang 50% dengan barang-barang jenama Hamleys yang bermargin lebih tinggi, hanya untuk dapat jualan contribution about 20%. But that's the price we have to pay. You gonna invest more in your stock so that there's more exposure, so that people keep seeing that brand and they keep having confidence in it. Memang tak ada jalan lain. What we try to do is we try not to allow the bigger brands yang more well known muscle more space in our store, because the more of the lower margins product yang kita ada dalam kedai kita, then overall what we call the blended margin dia akan jadi lebih rendah. So you've got to, macam kedai KLIA kita 1,400 square feet, about 70% of the products adalah barang-barangan jenama Hamleys sendiri. Macam Lego dan lain tu kita memang kurangkan sebanyak yang boleh, so that when customer masuk, its pilihan dia akan lebih kepada barangan yang berjenama Hamleys. Again, this is our strategy. It doesn't mean that it will work for everybody else. You've got to understand, of course, about electrical ni mungkin lain sedikit lah in terms of consumer punya behavior kan. Alright, thank you.
Anybody else want to say a few words?
Yeah, if I was just to combat Hamleys, and I like Hamleys because when I was a kid, go to England, watch Hamleys, you know. Hamleys' biggest competitor, I think, could be something like a company called VAT19.com. Yeah, go and check out VAT19.com and see how they market. They sell toys also. What they do is they make small videos of the toys, every toy, and they make it funny. Now kids love to watch on YouTube videos of toys. So they generate so many videos of toys, like, check out the news, it can be so, VAT19.com, that's it. So my kids say, Daddy, can we buy something from VAT19.com? Because the kids are all watching it. That's why you must know what your kids are watching, yeah? If you don't know, then go and Google spyware, download a program, and make sure you can see what your kids are watching. Maybe your wife also watching the same thing lah, you don't know, okay? Maybe your orang gaji, they're watching something else also, I don't know. So this is making use of the internet in a different way. Remember, subtleties of business, okay? Very important. Uber, you know Uber? You all use Uber, right? Why is Uber so much better than anyone else? Do you ever see Uber brand on a car? Never, right? Do you ever ask yourself why? Does anybody know the answer why? It is based on human habitual behavior, okay? Because if I lose my job, let's say tomorrow Tony says, you're fired, okay? Which he would never say, of course, because our ARPU is 63 ringgit, highest in the industry, and we 1.4 million subscribers. No, kita lain, we don't use KPI. So, if you lose your job and you want to earn money, kalau you pergi, apply license, taxi, drive taxi, tengok tu Jason, sekarang taxi no, macam malu kan, right? People then have their own car. If they have their own car, they can join Uber. They can drop the kids at school, switch on application, go and see, this one, my wife's friend cannot. This one, okay, pick up. They go pick up, they go drop off, nobody knows. They earn money, you see? And also, it prevents the black market. For instance, people see Uber, taxi tak ada, Uber. It stops, it keeps the full control of Uber on the net. You cannot hail a car from Uber down, you don't know which one it is. So very strict rules. They're not allowed to wear uniform, they're not allowed to put it on the car. See? This subtlety of business is the major difference between them and my taxi. My taxi is good, but it's taxi. Yeah? Uber is getting a lot of new drivers into the market. So you must look at brand. That's their way of handling their brand. Brand is touch point. Yeah? Brand for us is any touch point. Kalau you pergi ke Lawyat, you say, you go to Tune Talk, you say, boss, I want Tune Talk. You go, balik kamu, Tune Talk. He represents our brand. Yeah? Kalau you telephone Tune Talk, say, hello, ni siapa? You nak cakap ni siapa? Nak cakap dengan head of sales? Ini Tune Talk? Yeah. That's bad branding, right? Next thing, I don't have to deal with them. You will deal with someone else. So every touch point is your brand. Every single touch point. Yeah? You must wear your company on your sleeve, bro. You see this one? Huh? Where's your company? You come in, you wear it on your sleeve. You say, syarikat ni, this best one, best. You must, because you're sales. Everything is based on sales. If you're a salesman, you better sell. Yeah? Everyone will give name cards. Fine, but you must stand out. And the way you stand out is every single touch point, whether it's on the internet, whether it's one time a girl called my customer care, my head of customer care come, boss, some girl calling, only want to speak to CEO. I said, maybe it's urgent. Okay, put it through. Hello, listen. Yes, this one, Sujita. Hi, Sujita. Yesterday I called my husband. I cannot hear him. You still charge me 10 cents. I'm sorry, Sujita. I will reimburse the 10 cents. Yeah? Oh, okay, good. Now you come my house. I said, huh? You come my house? Now? What for? I want to sign all my sister, my cousin, all take the Tune Talk. I said, can I send my salesman? No, you must come. Sujita now it's almost 4:30 lah. Got traffic jam, no. Where do you live? Subang. Maybe tomorrow I said, no, you come now. I go to DG. No. Nee. So I drive to Subang, man. I get 7:30 kita sampai, the house besar gila, Wah, then ding dong. Then good afternoon, good evening, sir. This way, please, sir. Because my accent very English, maybe means we are richer, Go in there, Sujita there. Big family, this one, my mobile service. Still come to my house. So, true story. So, whatever it takes, yeah. I will take the 12 customers that will happen then. I will take them. Any customer you take, because that is part of your brand. As the CEO, you are the custodian of the brand. Brand is different from marketing, yeah? Brand is every single touch point. You must remember this. I told myself that I will never ever say no to any sale, anyone, because once when I was a musician, I still am a musician. When I, Siti Nurhaliza, I went to U-Mobile and I begged for money for Rock the World, which is a rock concert. Huh? Wait lah. So I went to U-Mobile and I said, hey, kita what Rock the World? Rock the World is a big music festival, and the head of marketing, a Chinese guy, said, what is the 10 guy fake after the PayPal? I said, sorry, I don't understand Chinese. Can you speak in English? So, joking lah. Sorry. And then I said, well, it's about 70% Malay. Ha! Ma, don't lie. I said, what? We are 3D. 3D. It's Chinese can afford, Malay cannot afford. I said, wow. You don't want to take. It's got 10,000 kids there, man. 10,000, 70%. Don't want. When I left that meeting, I swore to myself, I said, I will never, ever say no to that. And I also told God, I bet he get fired in 2 months. Sure enough, 1 month, fired already. This is when mobile first started out, So never say no to a sale, because you are a touch point. Even they're cakap senang, you come to my house, bring your electronic product to see lah, yeah. Okay, make sure you're at the house. Yeah? Then he'll know, this guy efficient. Dato', I got this, I'll call him, I send to your house. Then he has the confidence in you, is it? Yeah? So you must make sure touch point, every touch point important, because that's brand. And so what I'm basically saying is, to beat the rest, be better than the rest in every single tiny thing. All the way to Zalora.
Okay, all right. Lucas, you want to say something? A new startup, how do you sell other people's brand? How to become successful with your own
for
brand?
electronics online, it's true, it's very, very competitive. In my opinion, the way to survive there is to really focus on a very specific niche. So you have to find, because you cannot do everything, of course. To do everything, you need to lose money for many years in the market. You cannot turn like profits very easily if you want to build a big e-commerce group. So if you want to have quicker profitability, if you want to keep the business not too big but profitable, grow fast, then my suggestion is to find a niche where you can really rule, where you don't find so much competition. Because if you do everything, of course, especially on electronics, which is probably the best in terms of size, the best segment in internet commerce, it's going to be very, very tough. If you focus on a niche, you can easily be the winner, and you can easily turn a profit. You have to find the niche, and probably it's very difficult also to understand which one. So give yourself some time to test the different possible niche. Just go by intuition where you think that you could turn easily a profit. Give yourself 3-4 choices, and then test all these few choices. You cannot try all the niches. You have to bet. Business is always a bit of a bet, especially when you start. But definitely focus on specific niche.
Good, yeah. So focus, get the niche market, look at the product, look at the differentiator, and I think there are good suggestion and points from the three gentlemen here. I think apart from the habitual HHP, human habitual behavior, I think there's also a word called herd mentality.
And short-term memory.
The herd mentality, you convince the leaders, then everybody start to follow. I think it's a kind of good, interesting thing to see. And then apart from focusing on your niche, which is very important, niche marketing, or they call it consulting marketing, you have to put yourself in front. Yeah, you're the one who knows your product. And to the point where Kim mentioned just now, right? It's all about your margins. So you cannot be just something that you like to sell, people like it, but you don't have the margin, you'll be out of business. So you have to have the hybrid, good margin, big brand name, may have the position in the market, but you have smaller margins. So it's a different approach. So I think overall, you must be able to position and do a little bit more research. Faham dulu, understand before you go. Because you have limited resources, limited money, limited capital, so you must make sure that it's a strategic move before you go on. Gentleman there has a question. Yeah. Nama?
Yes. I don't think we answered the second part of his question, which was
his product.
How to seed. I think it was focused on seeding, which was he wanted to try to get his product out, a new product out there.
Yeah,
Software,
it's a software product.
yeah.
So you join, there are a number of organizations that you can go and via and network with them. Even selling among your friends also is good. What I'm saying is that there is an NEF, New Entrepreneur Forum. Government is assisting them for start entrepreneurs if you have a certain software. And then there's also PCOM, the industry. There's also Bro to help you. So I think one way, because these are very competitive market, very saturated. So if you're an entrepreneur, even SME also have a lot of assisted program for even in ICT, for instance, in software. So get to these people, there's a lot more to learn, but bottom line is there have to be some research, good niche for you to go, are you offering, understand your customer, make sure there's a margin, and then at the end of the day, understand the HHB.
Short-term memory. Can I just add? Saturated does not mean educated, yeah?
Okay.
So read Malcolm Gladwell, okay? Find out what Abercrombie and Fitch did before they came out. They actually went to all the colleges and they gave their t-shirt to the jocks and to the football stars and to the prom queens. So all the cool kids had the product first. They went around, yeah? Same thing when World of Warcraft beta version was launched. They went to all universities and they got the guys playing for it first. Then when they launched, already boom, you see? Because they understand the habitual behavior of who is taking it up and which bloggers to follow.
Excellent. Okay, soalan ketiga. So we have about 10-15 more minutes, yeah?
Alright. Hi. My name is Marzuki. So I am from Cita Petro. It's an oil and gas company. So I have a general question for each of you because you're standing in a different industry. So when you talk about HHB, so it's getting direct to humans. So human habits can be influenced by trends. So how you do the trend monitoring and evaluations? So you want to make a decisions on the behavior of buying, how to promote the right things at the right time to the right people for the right price. That's my question.
All right, but trends HHB, Mr. Jason, the owner of HHB, please.
Very good question. There's two ways to do it. Number one is you set the trend. Number two is you identify which trend to follow. So when TuneTalk first launched in 2009, it was at a time where there was no ROI for concerts. Roy, I kept hearing Roy. I had Tony, I had Celcom on my board. Dr. Shazali is like, hey, no ROI. Everyone Celcom make fun, like, no ROI. Even Maxis, no ROI. Hey, concert, But we did Justin Bieber, we did Paramore, we did Deftones, we did Avril Lavigne, we did Jessie J, we did so many concerts. And Maxis and Digi Celcom and all the U-Mobile, ROI, return on investment. They don't know I changed it to ROI, retain our youth. So, why they're laughing? AC Nielsen eyeball survey for the awareness of TuneTalk brand went in 3 years from 22% up to 78%. Then they're like, On top of that, MCMC did a customer satisfaction survey, okay, out of all the prepaids in Malaysia, all the prepaids, including Hotlink and Digi and all the rest. TuneTalk came number 1 in 4 out of 5 categories, right? So, and the last category we came second. So you must make sure the service is there, you must make sure that the quality of service is there, and you must identify or start the trend. So we identified that all the big guys pull out of concerts, we stuck with it. And I told my board, I said, please, just bear with me. They're like, well, we spent 800,000 doing Justin Bieber, we only signed 1,000, blah, blah, blah. I said, please. Because people don't understand advertising. 18 cents, 5 cents, 2 cents, 1 cent, it makes no sense, right? Because nobody here knows what you're paying for your data, kan? You're already confused. What do you understand? Justin Bieber ticket, and music has the highest recall. That's why we stuck by music. Next, we went into mixed martial arts, the fastest growing sport in the world. Now, does anybody know about the Malaysian invasion? MMA? You go to Paradigm Mall, you go this weekend in Sabah. We have created the Malaysian mixed martial arts and brought the scene forward. It is now the fastest growing sport in Malaysia, and it is the biggest amateur tournament in the world, yeah, in Malaysia, okay? Everyone is looking at Malaysia, yeah? Come on in Malaysia, what do you know? We just had one FC fight 2 weeks ago, and Peter Davis and Osman, they all won. All the Malaysians won. So we raised the standard. The next one we are going for is the Paralympics. You know why? Because nobody's going to win Olympic gold, okay, except the Paralympians. We have a really good Paralympic team, okay? Unfortunately, one of them, cyclist, recently passed away, which he won 3 gold medals, I think. But a Paralympic, you must look into the future. What will people not touch? We went at 3 a.m., to see the Paralympic team off to Incheon. They are semua nangis, man. They're like, why are you coming here? We announced we will give you 1,000 ringgit for gold, for silver, for bronze, we give you money. They said, nobody cares about us. And we say, exactly. Yeah. And whenever I ask internally, I say, guys, let's try this. Doesn't matter if your staff say, no. Your CFO will say, tak ada budget lah, tak ada budget. That's the job of the CFO lah. First thing, tak ada budget, yeah? Yeah? Kalau you percaya, you believe, if you believe in it, you go for it, you fight for it. My deputy head of marketing came to me one day and said, Ayah, Jaluk kata tak ada duit, no money. I said, that's his job, he's CFO, what? If you give up so easily, then forget it, not important. Said, oh yeah, then she went and fought for it. Justified. Afterwards, dah irritated already. Okay, I bagi lah, okay, no problem, you know? But you must fight for it. So then you set the trend, you understand? So must make sure you stand for something. Look at Digi. Digi's highest record is still Yellow Man. Yeah? Because that's the only thing that Digi stuck for how many years? 4 years. But Yellow Man stopped in 2006, man. You know? You know that? All the big Yellow Man ad, they stopped. Sorry? Huh? Somebody talking? On the phone, is it? No service, Digi. So you must understand, human habitual behavior is about recall. You can't do one advertising, one bit of advertising, one campaign, and then expect everyone to get it. There are 28 million people in this country. Kalau dia tak ingat, dia tak dengar, they don't know. You need to make sure that you keep going. After 6 months, in 2010, the #1 downloaded song in Malaysia is, well, you done me and you bet I felt it. Tried to beat you up, but just a heart that I melted. Fell right through the crack. It's Jason Mraz. Now I'm trying to get back. That song was 0 sales for 6 months on rotation, on A rotation, highest rotation. Rotate. Well, you done. Well, you done. Well, you done. Want to change the channel? All playing the same song. Yeah. After 6 months, lepas 6 bulan, then the sales pick up. Oh, because you have to bang before people get it. Yeah.
I just want to test. He's setting the trend. Okay, mindful of the time and your lunch, sampai dah lapar, ya. We will take one more question. After that, I will allow each of the panelists to say a few words, one takeaway, so that kalau yang mana yang, if you go out of this room, you must take away something, so that your business can grow, your sales strategy becomes better. So we'll get each one of the panelists to say a few words of advice, yeah, mantra. Trend, to create the trend is to create, to set the trend, to look into the future is to create one. So all those just will get the mantra from them. So one last question. Anybody? Okay, a lady, great. Okay.
Hi, this is for Senior. Buongiorno. I would like to know the strategies that you use for fashion industry. That's all.
Okay, fashion industry. We can have both. Luca, start first. What's the strategy that you use?
Strategy more in the sense of what products we like to sell or how we want to sell them.
What makes you what you are today? Everybody knows Zalora, and when you talk about Zalora, it's all about ladies.
Yeah, so it's mainly about the products that we put on site. I would say 3 main strategies. One is working very close with local Muslim wear designers. Muslim wear fashion is astonishing in terms of numbers. Malaysia is probably one of the countries with the best designers. Indonesia doesn't have good Muslim wear designers. The Arabic country, they have some, but they don't really believe. When it comes to Malaysia, we make it. So for us, this is one of the 3 pillars. Second is the international brands. So when we manage to have a contract which is exclusive on Zalora, means that if you wanted to buy River Island, you have to go and buy it on Zalora because it's not available in the malls. Second thing, if you think about all the areas out of Klang Valley, if I sell mango there are not many. They cannot go to mango to the malls in KL to buy mango. So this is, again, international strategies, Muslim wear designers. And then the third thing is, since we are mainly focused on fast fashion, we are also a fashion brand. About 30% of our sales come from our in-house labels, very similar to H&M, very competitive price points. All the styles are specifically designed for Southeast Asia. When it comes to fast fashion, if you have a good sales channel like we have for online, then you can even compete with Mango and H&M, because it's not that difficult to create good quality clothes. Of course, we could never compete with a famous designer. For a famous designer, we have to buy it and use the online channel. So I'd say these three main pillars on the buying strategies are what made Zalora very, very strong in this market.
Thank you. Maybe Kim want to add? Yeah, because you're also into fashion.
Yeah, just a quick one. Again, it's about understanding which target market we're going after. If we're trying to go after a target market where, let's say, there are a lot of consumers out there which don't want to wear something which, just in case they go clubbing or whatever not, then somebody else is wearing the same item and then they get embarrassed or whatever not. So you have that market, and sometimes we think about that and say, okay, that's the market I want to go after. But generally, those sort of target market we're going after tends to be a little bit more small. So what that means is basically, Karen Millen, I used to work for the Wing Tai Group, so there's only ever going to be 2 stores or 3 stores in a market, that's all. But you got to ask yourself whether is that what you want to achieve in a market. If you want to go after that group of profile of customers, then you have to accept the reality that there's a very small group of people out there who wants to look different. And then of course you have the other market, which would be, let's say H&M, for example. You really want to spread out, you really want to open up 100 stores or 200 stores. Uniqlo, I think, is going after about 100 stores in Malaysia. I think they will probably touch that in a year or 2 years' time. There's a target for it. But again, the question is, what do you want? The points of differentiation always, at the end of the day, comes back to branding. Whatever we try to think about, you cannot run away from spending money on branding. For our company, we do not have the resources to invest in branding. So what we have to do then is we have to sign up brands which invest in their brands. Of course, it's always a cycle. For us, what I'm trying to say is, for us, we needed to lose money with the smaller brands before we are able to secure bigger brands. Because no bigger brands would want to speak to us. Siapa Kim Manaf ni? Who is this guy? Yes, I may have a corporate background with some of the bigger companies, brand retailers, but as an entrepreneur, I have nothing behind me, no track record. So the challenge really was, I knew this all along because I was working for big corporates. I knew I needed to get big brands, but I knew big brands were not going to speak to me until I built a portfolio of brands. So that's my strategy in terms of trying to achieve what I want to achieve. But again, do we have money to lose? That's the issue. That's why the big gets bigger, isn't it? But the point is that there's still a possibility, there's still a way. You've got to persevere, you got to know your market, you got to know exactly what you want to achieve. You want to be a mom and pop's operation with 3 stores, that's fine, so you know your market. Or you want to be a giant with 200 stores in the country, that's fine again, then you approach it differently. Because fashion, at the end of the day, if you're talking international fashion, the point of differentiation really would be branding. Now, one more last point to pick up is every country somehow has a tendency to skew towards certain brands from certain countries. In Malaysia, what I've learned is we tend to be a little bit more UK-centric. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe because we've been colonized by the British. But somehow you launch a British brand, it tends to do better. I've tried some French brands. It's just difficult to do, those brands. It's the silhouette, the shape of the garment. Sometimes it just doesn't fit into the profile of our consumers. So again, those are the kind of things that if you want to do brick and mortar with brands like French brands, for example, you may find that you will struggle because you're not making enough sales to pay rent. So those are the brands that then maybe the online platform will do a lot better. So again, it's about understanding where you want to be, because brick and mortar, of course, you need a different model, and then online you need a different model, different products. So there's a place for all brands in a market. You just need to know what that place is.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah. Okay, while while we let the panelists think about their 2-minute closing each, since you have been a very good audience, so we'll give a soalan cukumas, yang burning question if you really need to ask. Anybody here, while we get the panelists start thinking your closing statement, each one about a minute or two. So any other last burning question? Last burning question, mesti tanya. Gentlemen, ask? Okay, that will be the last. There's two. Okay, both keluar, tanya question. What's your failure and how do you learn from it? That's one.
I'm Aizro from Exastrata Solution. We're property consultation.
Okay.
I'd like to know each of your strategy for you online, your HHB and your consumer behavior strategy. How can I adapt this strategy into service instead of product?
Okay, turn it into service instead of product. Each one of you, 1 minute.
It's quite difficult. It's quite different, of course. What it's a lot of, as you know, we are fully focused on fashion products. Out of the products, what works really online in terms of marketing is a lead generation. So closing sales, big contract online is almost impossible. You hear sometimes that there are people in the US that they buy cars and houses on eBay, but this is really not common. So probably the best strategy that I would focus on if I had to do that kind of service would be to apply what I learned about online selling products to getting qualified, good contacts online. Because online is very easy to get a good contact, to get some little information, and then the sales team will work on it. So this is what I would do if I had to move from selling products to selling services like yours.
Any failure that you have encountered, and what's the lesson learned?
For Zalora, I wouldn't talk about failure in the sense that it's all about the timing. As you probably know, Zalora, we are not profitable. And the reason is that we are very early in the market. As I said at the beginning, with only a very small part of the total trade happening online, even for fashion, but having all the full structure of a big online player, of course it can be very challenging. So I wouldn't talk about failure, because of course it takes time, but it's definitely challenging to hit the right timing. And when you start a company, if the timing is not the correct one, it can go very, very bad. So I wouldn't talk straight about failure, but more about the challenge of finding the right timing to turn a profit.
Thank you. Jason, selling services,
Thank you.
any failures?
No difference between product and services at all. You need to understand the human habitual behavior of someone who is going to look at AirAsia. After they look for AirAsia, they're going to go to hotels, right? They always do that. You go buy a ticket, next one go into hotels. That's why booking.com, suddenly, boom, they will send you, because the internet is watching you. Google can see everything you're watching, okay? Okay, so can Maxis, huh? At TuneTalk we can, but we don't see, because we go for gut feel. So, you must understand how people work for services. For instance, let's pretend you're a salesman, and you are selling airtime to dealers. Your primary customer is a dealer. You go to the dealer, you sell stock. If you go erratically, every week you go on Monday, then next week you go Friday, then the dealer doesn't know when you're coming. I go to dealers sometimes, has the TuneTalk salesman, kadang-kadang dia datang, Isnin, next week nothing, then come on Wednesday, you know. You must find out, when is the DG guy going? If the DG guy goes every week at Wednesday after lunch, you go breakfast. Senang. You go breakfast, kita ada big order here, the big bonus, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, I use all my cash, I buy from you, because I get big incentive, you're good. DG guy dah sampai, oh sorry, no more money, I bought TuneTalk in the morning. You find out when, and you go like a clockwork. Make sure. Some such small thing like timetable, make sure, bang on time, 12 o'clock, then the DG guy knows.
he might not even know. He just understands. The dealer know. The dealer will understand. Like for Tune Talk, we pay, before we start our business, I ask all the dealers, what do you want? Pay on time. Itu orang lain, dia bayar 1 bulan 2 bulan. I pay on time. We make sure we pay on time. Even the first check come in small. First year, 40 ringgit, 80 ringgit, 100 ringgit, but we pay on the same day. The dealer feels it. Memang itu Tune Talk, dia itu bukan besar, tapi tiap Isnin, first Monday of the month, always paid on time, good. Then it goes up. Oh, I like the Tune Talk. Because his habitual behavior change. Yeah. Memang hotlink dia bagi incentive, then drop kosong. Then want to hit the target, kosong. Yeah. So you understand how it works for services. Same thing with customers. When they call customer service, understand what they're doing. Understand who they are. Analytics are quite important here. But be careful of analytics. If your CFO is good at analytics, you won't get anything justified. Bos, kita nak buat motor racing, MotoGP. Cek dulu. This MotoGP very low APU, blah 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 blah. Kalah, So be careful with analytics. It's a double-edged sword. And failures?
Any failures?
I'm a musician from Malaysia, man. Come on, do I have to explain anymore? Please. Hello. Nobody fails more than musician. Okay? You write a song, go and put that. First check come in, 2,000 ringgit. Ya Allah. I dah bayar 20,000 ringgit untuk the music video, So you fail. But you learn how to fail. And the good thing about musicians always have to start with a blank sheet of paper and create a song, create an idea, teach the band, get money, learn to record the song. Yeah, all this is a process of creativity. And you must use your creative muscle every day. Even if you can't sing or whatever, you go and write a diary, or you write a story, or you do painting, or something creative every day. You must create something every day. Yeah? If you create something every day, you use that muscle. That muscle is a very powerful muscle. Yeah? Don't use this muscle. I meant this muscle here. Yeah? Use this muscle. Yeah? Left brain, right brain. Understand how it works. Yeah? The more you understand about human behavior, the better you'll be at your job. You want raise? You don't go, boss, I not do it. Left brain block. You go, boss. Minta maaf, I got problem. Oh, what's wrong? My wife, my son, I got accident, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm open to suggestion because I'm using my right brain instead of left brain. I always tell kids this. Kalau you pergi for interview, doesn't matter who. You go interview TM, let's say you get Tan Sri Zamzam. Then he don't have time for you. You're just another okay, interview. Tan Sri. Before we start the interviews, Tan Sri, my Unify got problem. I call your customer service, they kata, hey, I'm sorry. Start his left brain, right brain, customer. Hey, I'm sorry. Where you live? I live Puchong. Oh, Puchong. What's the speed like? Very bad. Only 2 Mbps. Yeah. Oh, I'm very sorry, my customer. Okay, Tan Sri, now you may interview me.
Okay, Kim, you're on.
Just coming back to the service part, I think again what's very important, it's again an experiential factor again, as far as service industry is concerned. Why is it that certain customers would pay a lot more to go into a Massimo Dutti? And of course, apart from the whole experience of in terms of service, in terms of quality of the product, in terms of the branding and so on and so forth, and why some of course would want to go to a brand which is a little bit more affordable. So at the end of the day, it's what I like to pick up also, it's if from an entrepreneur's point of view, do you have a product now and you're trying to push it to the market, force it down everybody's throat, or do you want to identify what is the current need of the market and then try to find a product to satisfy that need? Now, it's a two very different approach in which you become an entrepreneur. Some people, artists for example, dia suka paint benda abstract. Yes, you love it, you're very passionate about abstract paintings and whatnot, but after painting that, can you make a living out of it? If you cannot make a living out of it, then you may have to force yourself to, let's say, paint something which is a little bit more scenic, for example, because in a market, that's what the market is going after. So it's not a right, wrong thing. You really got to think about it long and hard? Do you want to do something you're very passionate about, or do you really want to make a good living, as an entrepreneurship? No right or wrong. I mean, you think about it, you decide what you feel is right for yourself.
Failures, any experience?
In terms of failures, I think even after working for public listed big conglomerates, we all think we know it all. But the reality is, I think the consumer mindset keeps shifting. They keep changing. What's very important is to consistently, I suppose it's not about being arrogant, thinking that, I have a product and I know this product would definitely sell. I think when we put ourselves into that mindset, I think that's where we fail. For myself personally, it's about signing on some brands which I think those brands could penetrate into the market. But at the end of the day, the consumers were not receptive towards those particular brands. So making mistakes, I think, is part and parcel of entrepreneurship. As far as myself is concerned, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 8 years, countless numbers of mistakes. I think what's most important is daripada kesilapan tu, what do we do with it? Do we learn from it, or do we keep repeating it all over again? If we don't understand the root of our mistake, that's when we cannot grow the business. It's very important really to understand why you make that particular mistake and then learn from that, right?
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is a bonus Chupumas question, which I think, because you've been so good an audience, I think even though now it's 12:50, we started by 11:30 just now, so I want to give you the full 1.5 hours of what you should get out of this topic, sales strategy. I think we have gone to quite a lot. We have 5 questions from the floor, and there's a lot of lesson learned here. And so we'll do probably a 1-minute closing, a takeaway, what you should hit for you to have a good sales strategy. We'll start from Kim and then finish up with Luca. Kim.
Okay. One of the very interesting things that I've learned from my whole career in retail is, especially promoters, kalau kedai, all of us, those of us who have stores, bila orang start kerja sebagai promoter kedai, they feel macam it's like malu. It's embarrassing, it's not a good job. I don't want to give my name card, or I don't want to go to Mama with my friends and then say that, you kerja apa sekarang? I kerja promoter. Then they feel embarrassed. Again, it's about understanding that particular problem and then try to use it to advantage. So what I want to finish off is, we are all salesmen. All of us, we've got to understand that. So that's what I share with the team that starts daripada kedai yang rasa, malu nak kerja sales. I'm saying that, kalau you nak jadi usahawan, you want to be an entrepreneur, what are you selling? You are selling your company. You are selling your company's expertise. You are selling your skills. All this, it's salesmanship. But you cannot be selling your company to big brands. Like say, for me now, I'm selling the company. I've got to go to big brands and hopefully they'll be convinced enough to give me the rights to their brands. But I can't sell the company to them if I can't even sell a particular glass at the shop as a promoter. So this is what I always share with the team. Kalau you gelas satu pun tak boleh nak jual, you nak jadi usahawan macam mana? How are you going to convince bankers to give you money? How are you going to convince brands to trust you enough to give you the brand for you to run it, to manage it for them? You can't. So we must always understand, dari segi all levels, we are all salesperson. The only difference is the product that we are selling is different. As a manager, your staff or your team members have to understand, you are now not selling just products, you are selling ideas. You've got to go to your management and tell them that, boss, I ada idea ni. Idea ni akan meningkatkan jualan kita sebanyak 20%. And what is that idea? Because if you cannot convince your management of that particular idea, which is going to put more money into your team's pockets, then you have failed. So just want to close with that. Just make sure that you convince everybody along the line of the organization that you work with that we are all salesperson and we've got to start from somewhere. We've got to start from selling a bottle of water or whatever not. Right? Thanks.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, Jason, your 1-minute closing takeaway. Ada marker pen? No marker pen. You have to improvise. Ada. Okay. All right. It's a pen. Okay, we can visualize it. Throw. Baling.
So, this is why you thought we don't have this thing, this can't sell crap because product, they don't do their job. They don't give the crap, right? The right crap. The crap is like always, Then marketing don't give the customer crap that they believe in the crap. Who is the one who should not reach and achieve their bonus? Is the CEO. Only the CEO. He's the one who should drop down in his salary or whatever the CEO for. What happens here is, and this happened with all of us, you notice your sales guys, every maybe September, October, suddenly resign. Hey, you think back, you go and look back in your books and say, no, why they only glance at October all the time? Because they cannot achieve this yes, okay, yeah. So the sales guys are the one easy to blame sales. Product also blame sales. Marketing, sales. Yeah. The CEO blames sales. Everyone blame the sales. The sales one are the one who don't have any money. Then they will leave the company. And that's why sales guys always don't blame the sales guys. Do not believe in this. Okay? So in Junto, we have started a new one, which is called B. B. This stands for business alignment. Alignment is important, huh? Align yourself. Alignment. Pillars. I know it's another fancy word for Bella. But what we try to do at Junto, we try to identify the most important thing. Because salesman cannot control distributor, right? Cannot control. But inside the office, the guy in charge of distribution can, so the salesman will whack the procurement guy a bit. Bro, not us. Because I hit this pillar, I hit this pillar, I don't hit this pillar. I hit this pillar, I hit, but he's more certain because sales guy, they know the kaki. This one is my kaki, no problem. This one is a Royal Plaza, you buy the stock report, so my sales on dealer, no problem. Okay? But your other alignment, you choose your most important pillars. Yeah? But when this align, the salesman is not going to drop suddenly because he's good at this. If he's good at this, it's a strength, you focus on this. But then he can move on to other things. Not like macam panic. Sell, yeah. Pergi go and sell to Bangladeshi and Indonesian market and any market, right? The most important market is the Malaysian market. Yeah? So don't blame the sales. I know the Chinese, I know. Don't blame them. It's not all their fault. It's your fault as well. A fool blames the world. Okay? So I hope to see all of you using BAP. That doesn't mean vote for BAP. Yeah?
All right. Thank you, Jason. All right. Luca, your 1 minute takeaway.
I will be much shorter than. I think the key message is know your audience very well and never stop innovating, regardless of the results that you see. Always keep trying new things, both on the product sourcing side, both on the marketing side, because it's always partly because the market changes and partly because there's always a hidden potential that you didn't think about it so far. So keep trying new things. Yeah.
Excellent. Focus. So give a one clap to all the panelists. So I remember all the three words, yeah? HHB, BAP, and one last takeaway from me is a CPR. If you are really tenat, yeah, in your business, just remember CPR. Not cardiopulmonary resuscitation, but communication. You need to communicate well. P is productivity, not KPI, but we look at your BAP. Yeah, performance is all about productivity, right? To sell your product. And the last is resistance, R. How do you manage resistance? Be the market, be the right sales guys. Yeah? So my last takeaway is CPR. Make sure that you all grow and prosper And then insyaAllah, siapa yang belum join bro, when we invite, do join because that's also a platform for us to grow in our business for the entrepreneur. So dengan itu, saya pulangkan balik kepada organizers. Thank you very much for your attention. Nak jemput Cik Jamni to come here to give memento to the panelists. Yeah. Silakan. Okay, dengan itu jemput Mr. Luca to receive memento from the organizers. Mr. Luca, down there. Thank you, Luca. Now we'll invite Jason. Our bro treasurer, Mustaqim, silakan. And last but not least. So dengan itu tamatlah our session on sales strategy, and welcome to have lunch served there. Start. Dan kita akan bermula balik pada jam 2 in the ballroom. Can the speaker come here for the group photograph and Mr. Tanvi? Jemput Chairman Tan Sri up. Tan Sri just notice you. Thank you. Come ambil gambar bersama dengan panelis. Tan Sri and our president. Thank you.